Alright. Moving into set number 4. We did not skip over no, well, we kind of skipped over set number 3. But we did not forget about set number 3. There was yet another walkover, so North America's up 3-0. In the bottom right from Latin America, or not in the bottom right, just in the bottom from Latin America is TerrOr at 6. And in the left position is DragOn. Alright. And he is purple, and that is 9 o'clock, and score, and reset. Alright, good stuff. So, it should probably, this has to be the highest caliber match we've seen yet today. TerrOr versus DragOn. TerrOr A- or A rank, DragOn B+, plus or minus 1 rank. I never know people's exact max ranks, and it's all kind of relative. It just matters how much they actually put effort into that season. But two very good players. Two very good players. I've casted DragOn a bunch of times. I have not casted his PvT. Obviously, he has an opportunity to play against Protosses and Zergs a lot more than he does Terrans, but I haven't seen it. TerrOr I have casted his versus Protoss. It involves vultures. It involves vultures, and then harass, and then vultures, and then harass, and then you push with vultures. And occasionally there's a tank in there, maybe even 2 tanks. Sometimes. If he's feeling really turtly, he'll build a second tank. But for the most part, it's just 50 vultures. And that's how TerrOr likes to roll. And I can respect that. So, racks going down is... And there's the supply depot. He hasn't thrown down the gas yet, so it's looking like it's going to be a little bit quicker of an expansion. I assume. He could build the racks on... Excuse me, he could build the command center on the low ground if he wanted to try to get away with that, but given how he's positioning these buildings, I assume he's going to build it on the high ground and play it. Nope. You know what? I like it, TerrOr. I like it. He does not need this wall. He is just going to be building his command center down on the low ground, but he's still going to build a wall anyway, because no one has ever regretted making a wall. I like it, TerrOr. Actually, he might not even finish the wall. It's there's a pretty big hole in the bottom there. So, now this map is kind of annoying for Protoss, in my opinion, because it's too quick for the Terran to attack. Not only can the Terran attack pretty quick, in terms of just distance, but for such a small map, it's also really closed off. There's a lot of chokes like this, which can make it really hard for Protoss in the late game. In the early game, it can be really nice for Protoss, depending on how you use the map to your advantage, but as the game starts to progress on, it just gets harder and harder for Protoss to make a really big statement attack that just does tons of damage to the Terran, because the Terran can move so quickly across the map and always be in a safe position, it seems like. So, I would expect DragOn, if DragOn's gonna have success in this game, I would expect it to be a little bit earlier. That being said, TerrOr doesn't play like most Terrans. I was using a little bit of a hyperbole by saying his push-its are comprised of 50 vultures and 1 tank. But he really does like vultures. So he's going to be aggressive, he's not going to go for a slow methodical push across the middle. Maybe that's not as much of a concern for DragOn. We'll see. Alright. Couple of goons threatening to come in. How much longer until range? Range just finishing now, so they should be moving in and ooh. This is something you see a lot on this map. This map really does lend itself very, very nicely to Reavers. It would be a little bit better if the positions were switched and DragOn was going clockwise to TerrOr, but this is still good. Reavers are still good no matter what position you are on this map, and it being like this is better than it being cross. It's just such a small distance to pop from here over to the natural. You're just harassing instantly, and then have an immediate safe escape route. So, gonna pull the SCVs off of mining, gonna waste some minerals in the repair, good stuff. Meanwhile, TerrOr also seems to agree. Excuse me. Ugh. TerrOr seems to agree that this is a good map for drop harass. So he won't be able to use Reavers, but he will be able to. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Repairing it again. But he will be able to make a dropship and drop some vultures in. Getting siege mode first, but then I have to assume he's starting mines like immediately. There we go. Mines are started. So, going to start striking early and often. Wow. DragOn's not going Reavers. He's not going Reavers. He's instead going Observatory. That's pretty damn greedy. Getting an Observatory and 3 bases off of 1 gateway. I mean, now he's getting up to 3 gateways, but man. We'll see. TerrOr's gonna be aggressive. This is not a fake. There is no science vessel coming out. Right? Damn, don't throw... Okay, good. 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 TerrOr's not throwing down a science facility right now. He's just getting a dropship. So, alright, so it's going to be TerrOr instead of Protoss, who is aggressive in the drop harass. And that's part of the reason why Reavers are popular on this map. Because drop is good, but also because Protoss really would prefer it to not get to the late game if possible. So, start doing some early stuff. But we'll see what TerrOr's able to do. Obviously, it's going to be easiest for TerrOr to come in from this direction, just because it's so close. But, if he wants to come in from the other direction, there is a high ground spot up here that the siege tank can drop from. With the robo that fast, it means that he can get a shuttle, which will be a little bit annoying, and elevate some units up. But it doesn't look like TerrOr's even going to go that direction. Instead, oh, sad probe. It tried to run away. It was like cowering for its life there, like trying to bust out, but it could not. It just needed to mine 908 minerals, just like that fast. And then it would make a hole for itself. But no, probe goes down. All mining is stopped, but the push really can't pursue. So the observer should be coming back, and the observer does. It looks like DragOn is going to get some use out of his early observers here. While the siege tank gets picked off, does a little bit of damage. Stopped mining for a long time, got 1 or 2 probes, and then picked off some Dragoons. Not bad. Not bad, but it's a start. We're going to probably see him continue the dropship harass if he's not already continuing, which he already is. He didn't even bother to wait for that first drop to finish. He is already back in it, and now he is dropping on the complete opposite side. There's at the very least, there is an observer to help out with the vision, but man, these Dragoons are just going to take such a pounding, and look at all this miss. Miss, miss, miss. 3 misses in a row right there. Another miss. Another miss. Another miss. Another miss. Another miss. 1/3 chance, my ass. Another miss. Another miss. There we go. It got a hit immediately before dying. Oh man, this has to be painful for DragOn. This has to be painful for DragOn. Oh, he's even doing dropship micro. Oh, have you no shame? Unfortunately, the dropship does not get mischance, so might have been better just leave the tank there. But still, trading 2 tanks in the dropship, I don't know. But they have. Ooh, that was a nice bomb, hitting all of the gas mining probes. TerrOr. He's doing it with dropships this game instead of vultures, but this is such TerrOr style. It's I'm going to attack and attack and attack and attack and attack, and I'm making a 3rd dropship. It's TVP, but I don't give a shit. I'm making a 3rd dropship. And heading right back out. That's what he does. This is actually going to be TerrOr's first attempt to just walk vultures in. There's a Dragoon here, but then nothing else. And if the Dragoons get too far away from the base, the tanks on this high ground are going to be a pain to deal with. So I think the vultures laying some mines up here to deal with this goon, or just attacking the goon even, and tanks laying on this high ground would be a smart move. Alternatively, he could just put the tanks in here, and the Dragoon can't get in. That is, it's tank tight. If it's vulture tight, then it's certainly Dragoon tight. Oh, okay. I guess it wasn't either of them tight. I wonder if TerrOr realizes that that's not tight. Whatever, doesn't matter. He's... Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, the probes. The probes. Can he get them all? Can he get all of the probes? The Dragoons have to clear the mines. They couldn't get there fast enough. There's one probe that manages to live. But DragOn is going to pay dearly for this base. It's... I mean, it wasn't even punished that quickly. It was allowed to live for quite a while before it ultimately got punished, but eventually it did. Here's the shuttle. DragOn realizing that this is going to be an issue, constant harass. So getting a shuttle is going to help out quite a bit here. He doesn't have to sacrifice that many Dragoons, but still. All the probes going down. All the probes going down, more than enough to compensate for that. Oh, and then we have more harass in the main. Because that's what we do if we're TerrOr. We just drop. And we drop, and we drop, and we drop, and we drop. And you know what? It's really damn effective. TerrOr is proving right now that you don't need to be static as a Terran player. You can be dynamic. You can just keep going in. And it's working out brilliantly. DragOn's not doing anything horribly wrong here. It's just TerrOr, he just can't handle it. He can't handle what TerrOr's doing right now. And there's no obvious thing that DragOn could be doing. It's like, oh, if he did this one thing, everything would be fine for him. He's just silly for not doing it. No. He's doing everything textbook right, but man, you gotta have the micro to mess with that, and oh boy. For the first time in maybe the entire game, TerrOr's dropship is stationary. It looks like we've stopped with the harass for a little bit, but man, not the best saturation. Certainly not the best saturation. Double certainly not the best saturation. Breather time. You can at least breathe a little bit here. Alright. But just for a little bit. Because, you know, he's going for a push that involves 50 vultures and like one tank, maybe a second if he's crazy. Look at all these vultures! TerrOr! You are insane. Okay, it's 5 tanks. But still, it's like 3 vultures per tank. And, you know, we're just going to put 4 of them in dropship. And drop them. Because why not? Not even gonna bother to drop him here and do it sneakily. He's just not gonna micro it. Microing is lame. Just leave him there. And drop the other 2 over here, and hopefully you draw DragOn back, and then you push in. Oh man. Man, I love it. I love it when I say I'm a fan of a player, and then they completely justify me for being a fan of them. Oh, TerrOr. What a game, man. What a game. And here comes the attack in. He's not going to be able to dish out too much damage here, but it's just a matter of he has so much stuff that is not dying terribly quickly. He's now finally realizing that sieging up is probably a good idea. Okay, this attack's not going well for TerrOr. He should be able to still win it, but could have been better. Doesn't matter, though. DragOn taking too much economic hit. He's now lost his army. He can't remake it. GG. TerrOr, great game, takes number 1. Alright. Sick game. Sick game. How is DragOn going to respond? Pick a map that's really far away. Fighting Spirit. I would have said Ground Zero, but Fighting Spirit's good too. Fighting Spirit's good too. Alright. So, game number 2, DragOn versus TerrOr. DragOn is going to be the white Protoss at the 2 o'clock position. And TerrOr is the orange Terran. Whoops, don't want to do that. At the 10 o'clock. We're going to call it 10 o'clock. Keep it consistent. At the 10 o'clock position. Alright. So, I'm not only rooting for TerrOr because I'm not only rooting for TerrOr because I already said I'm a fan of him, but we would prefer it. We would prefer it if there were not 2 sweeps. And let's be honest, things not looking good for Latin America. There could still be more walkovers to come, so they need their win whenever they can get it. Did I capitalize both of them? Yeah, I did. Cool. Alright. People talking about in the chat replays. We do have... VODs are made. But if you really just want to go and watch the replay itself, typically replay packs get released at the end of the season. No promises. I don't have any information about replay packs. That's just an idle guess. I'm guessing though that there will be replay packs out because there were packs out for the First Nation War and there were replays out for ISL and I think for Gambit Cup. I'm not so sure about Gambit Cup, but Gambit Cup wasn't run by Games, so maybe not the best of comparisons. I'm pretty sure there will be replay packs at the end of the season if you want them. Alright. So, TerrOr making his wall, putting the supply depot here. If you are new to StarCraft and don't know why he does that, it's just because it's tight. It's still tight, even if this, even if supply depot is not done. Despite the fact that, click on something else, that this does not look tight at all, it is in fact tight. So nothing can get in, and you don't have to spend the SCV time making it, because you really didn't need the supply depot. You do have to spend the money, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's worth it if you are particularly fearing a zealot attack or just want to be extra safe. Oh, wow. What unfortunate time for TerrOr. As soon as he lifted that up, that probe came within vision range. And then snuck its way into the base before the barracks could be set down. Wow. Alright. So, somebody found the lift button inside the barracks, and he's having fun. Just up, down, up, down, up, down. And he is going to lift it up so that the probe can get out. And then set it back down. That's 3 reps. We can count. I'll keep count if he keeps going. Now he's gonna make another Marine. Alright. So, TerrOr getting his fast expo, getting his bunker up. Looking very similar to what he did game 1. Now this map, significantly worse for dropship harass. You do not have anywhere near the same opportunities you do on Icarus. It's also a lot farther away. So, and wow, that's a very early scouting pylon for DragOn. It's like, he really wants to know when that dropship's coming. It's like, are you going to go, like, 14 starport, 10 fact 14 starport into dropship? If you do, I will freaking see it, man. I will see it. Alright. So, Marines in the bunker, landing the barracks here just as a little bit of an extra wall. Unfortunately, though, ooh. I take that back. I thought it was going to be in a position the Dragoons could still hit it, but it is placed just so as we saw that the Dragoon cannot get shots off. Not at least until range is done. Alright. So, yeah, bunker's going to be repaired, and putting 1 extra Marine in it just to be a little bit extra careful. That's fine. And now, what is DragOn going to be doing? He's getting his robo facility again. And again, we have a probe moving out. So, despite the fact that going for an early 3rd base allowed TerrOr to be super, to have even more options for his drop harass last game, DragOn is undeterred. He's gonna go try it again. Huh. And this is a very greedy build. It's... you get Observatory and 3 Nexus up before you start your 2nd gateway. This is a little bit unnecessary for TerrOr. You don't need this many SCVs repairing. Not only does it detract from your mining, but it can also be bad. If you have 1 SCV per goon, they repair at almost identical rates as it's being damaged. So you don't need to constantly re-click it. But now, if he forgets about it for 5 seconds, the barracks is going to go down. And when you have to do it so consistently, it's easy to forget it one cycle. Anyway, looks like they're giving up on the bunker. They can still attack the barracks a little bit here. Ooh, that can actually still attack the bunker. Well, that's going to have to unsiege and come all the way down here. This feels like a bait. This feels a little bit like a bait. It's like the tank's going to come here and then all the dragoons will step up. I don't know, but I kind of feel that way. No. TerrOr's going to put it in a safe position anyway. Good stuff. So, we have TerrOr. We have double machine shops, but don't worry. There's no way that those double machine shops could possibly use it for double tanks. It just means getting faster vulture upgrades. It's fine. This is not imposter TerrOr. This is real TerrOr. And he's going to go for some classic vulture harass, but Dragoon's already at the front. It does seem like DragOn is aware of TerrOr's, I don't want to say stigma, because stigma's a negative, and the harass he does is certainly a positive thing. But his clout, aware of his potential, and he is very defense heavy. Man, I'm pretty sure people are making fun of the way I said the plural for Nexus. I don't even know what I said, so I can't quite defend it. Alright, so the early observer does give you a little bit of extra vision. You do know what your opponent's doing a bit beforehand. I'm surprised the observer doesn't go further in. Ugh. Yeah, it's going to be going in farther in eventually, but there's no turret here, so there's nothing that can actually kill it. Oh boy, are we playing Guess the Sport? Okay. Okay. Murphy and Carter. As DragOn goes and attacks, that's not going to work out. Murphy and Carter means that it's an individual sport, not a team sport, so it can't be cricket. And it's 4-8 or 9-8, which means it's pretty high scoring. It means it's not going to be something like boxing. Boxing doesn't get that high in score. Competition between two people with a high score. Ping pong? Ping pong has a high score. It's too high of a score for tennis. The UK Championship, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm feeling ping pong. Probably wrong. But I'm gonna guess that this dude's just an avid ping pong fan. Oh. There's some people saying snooker. Oh. Is that... Pool would get high. Or billiards. To be honest, I've never heard snooker. That is a new term for me. Alright. Anyway, TerrOr this game is not going for ridiculous all-out aggression. We saw he got his third base up. On Fighting Spirit, it's a lot easier to take a third base and have it really secure. On the other side, DragOn has had his 3 bases up for a while. It has a Stargate. We saw the Arbiter Tribunal coming in. And... excuse me. We saw the Arbiter Tribunal coming in. So the Stargate will be producing Arbiters. And I don't... TerrOr should be turtled up that he doesn't really have to worry about an attack, but obviously you want the Arbiters out when TerrOr decides it's time to make the push. And oh, here we go. Here we go. That's 8. 8 factories, 2 machine shops. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. TerrOr has a science facility and is now going to start getting its science vessels. And TerrOr is just going the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where first game, very as aggressive as you can possibly be as TerrOr, short of Bunker Rush. And then this game, as passive as you can be as TerrOr. He's had those two factories for so long and then nothing else. And now, yeah, just going to be on 3 base, eventually push out. But he's only at 110 supply. There's a lot of time before he needs to push out. And that +1's almost done. I'm surprised you don't see a second armory coming down, so he can start his 2-1 upgrades. Because I think the 2-1 would be a little bit late from when he wanted to push out, but it would be pretty close in terms of timing. And he could just, instead of doing a push out at 170 or whatever, he could just do a 200 push. Alright. No real advantage for either player right now. I mean, obviously DragOn has a much higher supply. Well, it was 40 a little while ago, now up to 60. So that much supply. 60 supply is a bit of an advantage for DragOn, but it's a matter of how you can use the supply. And right now, the supply doesn't mean anything. He can't attack. Fighting Spirit is too damn defensive. So... yeah, he's got to take more bases, which it looks like he is now. He's taking bases 4 and 5. And how's TerrOr going to respond to those extra bases being taken? Can he take another base of his own, or does he need to push out? It looks like TerrOr is deciding he needs to push out. He's not going to have good upgrades. And that's a real problem. 1-0, not good for him. But at the same time, DragOn hasn't been getting upgrades either. He's max with just 1-0 upgrades. It's a little bit surprising. Can I find the forge real quickly? Yeah, he's not even getting another upgrade. Both players very loose on their upgrades this game. A little bit surprising considering how passive it's been. TerrOr's now working on his +2, so despite the fact that he did not get a second armory, despite the fact that he was even late with it, late with the first one, he's still going to be ahead on upgrades compared to DragOn. And EMP just a little bit too late. A pretty nice stasis going off. And we have an Arbiter versus Marine duel. Both doing no damage to each other, but the Arbiter has a lot of health, where the Marine has none. Meanwhile, more important attack coming from the bottom side. The Arbiter was merely a distraction for that Marine, so the Marine could not provide could not perform the vital role it needed to in this fight. And that's a really nice stasis. Taking out those 3 tanks, absolutely huge. And those 3 tanks, 4 tanks, excuse me. Those 4 tanks might have even been enough to turn this battle. There aren't that many Dragoons left over. It's less than a control group. 4 tanks can easily take out a control group of Marines throughout the course of a battle if they're all alive. Not to mention distract some of the fire, but now it is too late. And DragOn will win the first engagement. He's going to have no problem remaxing. He has plenty of gateways. 7 gateways plus... Okay, so it's 11, that's 15, 16, 17 gateways. 17's a nice number. Oh, hold the phone. Where's TerrOr's other armory? There it is. Man, every Terran puts their armories next to each other. TerrOr's messing me up. So TerrOr wasn't bad on the upgrades. He did have 2-1. I was right when I said I was expecting him to throw down another armory. He was just hiding it from me. But DragOn does have 1-0, and I really don't think he's hiding a forge. Ooh, double arbiters. Double Stargate for the arbiters. He's still not getting it. You're maxed! Oh, there we go. Now we're getting it. Okay. Meanwhile, TerrOr's building command center, so he will float that off over to here in a little bit, once he feels a little bit more secure about his position. Okay. Now, really, we're going to come right back to the same position we were at. The players are going to rebounding to about the same amount, and it's still a matter of DragOn is maxed, TerrOr is not, he's at 150. But TerrOr needs to make a push, because DragOn has too many bases right now. And TerrOr needs to get some map control around here to be able to... excuse me. He needs to be able to get some map control to be able to take his fourth. A lot of cannons going down, not in time though. The vultures will be able to pick them all off. And, ooh, DragOn. It's always dangerous when you're moving your entire army to deal with a threat, especially when it's just a handful of vultures. Well, a control group of vultures. A little more than a handful. It looks like he's not heading that way, but he is heading into the minefield that was laid so long ago. Alright. Doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of damage. They do turn down. And it looks like... I said it was dangerous to send your entire army to deal with a harassment threat like that. But actually, by having his army move down instead of across, he did not run through the minefield, and it was actually the safe option. In a weird twist of fate. Handfuls 5. Unless it's something... Unless it's something that you can actually grab, like you're talking about a handful of M&Ms. If it's not tangible like that, a handful is always 5. Alright. Yeah. That's how many it is when you're talking about M&Ms or peanuts or raisins or whatever. But when you're talking about a handful of people, a handful of units, you can't hold that many units in your hand. So then it's 5. Yeah. Also a couple is 2. Because it's like when you say people are a couple romantically, it's just 2 people. Right? Right? Even though I tend to use couple a lot for things that are more than 2, but... Oh. Nice. Shoutouts to the joke in chat. I'm a fan of puns. But anyway, there was a recall up here, and it got taken out. I think there was some incidental splash. Oh, well, no. Not all of it was an incidental splash. Some of the SCV's gone down, but really not a huge amount of damage here. And TerrOr, wow. That's one way to defend an expo, I guess. Alright, I guess we're going to see if it works. We haven't seen DragOn have observers with his army, and it's about to hurt him. Right here. Nope. Well, he saw the mines, but it doesn't matter. There's enough units up here that it's going to be safe even without the mines. And we have a maxed game. We are completely stopped at 200-200. DragOn, obviously able to let his bank grow a bit. Probably should be adding... okay, he has been adding on some gateways. So, what are we at now? 7? Okay, so 7, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think it went a little bit fast. It might have been 21. Either way, lots of gateways coming out from DragOn. It should be able to use that money very quickly once his army dies. But now, you've allowed TerrOr to get a 4th base. And... if you're Protoss, and you don't... okay, if you're Protoss versus 2 bases, awesome, don't fight, let Terran starve. If you're Protoss versus 3 bases, you don't really have to fight. You can let Terror starve. And it could probably work out for you. But if you're Protoss versus Terran on 4 bases, then it's not worth it. You should not wait for the Terran to starve. You should be throwing away your army so that you can remax, because you're going to have a better economy. Ooh, catching a probe transfer out in the middle of the map. So, it looks like DragOn doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to mess with TerrOr's enormous army right now. Instead, he just wants to expand. He's going to expand all the way to the far corner of the map, where pretty near where TerrOr is, mostly just so that TerrOr doesn't get it. It's an interesting tact. You have a choice. You can either just go and attack the army, which those are some nice storms. There's some very nice storms coming out from DragOn, and it looks like now he wants to go in. Do these Arbiters have energy? No, these are not the EMP'd ones. And stasis goes down, a pretty nice stasis. Terror's units were a bit spread out, so it's hard to land a good one, but that was a rather nice one, taking out 2 back tanks. And there we go, that's a better stasis, much better one, taking out 4 even further back tanks. Now these Dragoons are going to come crush again. TerrOr doing his patented, I'm going to build supply depots out in the middle of the map strategy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it kind of looks silly, like now, when you just have supply depots out in the middle of the map. And that was a great attack for DragOn. I think he even lost less units than TerrOr. If it was an even for even trade, that's a good map for Protoss. And it's a good trade for Protoss, and Protoss had better than that in this case. So now we should be producing off of all of these. Alright, it looks like he is now. Good stuff. And the Arbiter's coming in. Doesn't have enough energy for a stasis, but oh, the Goliath got taken. Still does anyway. Alright, so what else can you do as DragOn when you have 7k in the bank? You build more gateways. And these gateways are not at all about being able to make more units. You already have enough gateways that you can just remax immediately. I mean, 20 gateways means... Oh. Alright. It looks like some probes got caught out in transfer. Anyway, by having those gateways, it means that... Sorry, it doesn't mean that you can make it. You have 20 gateways, you can make 40 supply at a time. That you don't need any more production. What it's more about is just the positioning. It means that you can, if this base is getting contained, you can build units from inside that will help with the liberation attempt from the bigger army that comes from the outside. That's really why you build gateways like this as Protoss. It's not about the extra building capabilities. So, the Dragoons are... Oh, this is going to be a... Maybe. This is still going to be a pretty hard battle. Ooh, that was a very nice mine hit. And yeah, DragOn shouldn't invest anything more now that he's losing all these goons. Should just hold back with this army, wait for more reinforcements to come up. But at the same time, you would like to go in sooner rather than later and try to save this base. He does have these gateways here, so he can make some speed lots that will help out, as I was just saying. Thanks to DragOn and TerrOr for helping me demonstrate that. Oh, I missed a storm. It was a really good storm. Darn. Alright, my bad. Sorry, I was more focused on this attack down here. Alright, so DragOn has bases to spare. He doesn't need to save these bases, but TerrOr doesn't. He's only on 2 bases right now. So a base for base trade at this stage of the game is a really nice for Protoss. And this is kind of a cool move from DragOn, realizing that, ooh, a lot of these mines are getting very close to hitting. It's a cool move from DragOn, realizing that this is the position that he's in. Alright. A lot of goons impaling themselves on mines. Okay. Okay. Now, I was saying that this is a bad trade for TerrOr. Because even these 2 bases for DragOn, is this D-Matrix shield? Yeah, it is actually gonna hold up long enough. The 2 bases for DragOn are a lot less important than the 1 base for TerrOr. But if TerrOr is able to take these 2 bases, and then he's trading he's letting this 1 base go, but he's gaining 2 bases down here, and DragOn won't be able to take this base because it's way too close to TerrOr. If he can make that kind of trade, then this can actually work out in TerrOr's favor, assuming that he has the correct positioning of his army. At the same time, though, DragOn's supply is just not going down. He's constantly had such a huge bank because of all these bases. Now, TerrOr, on the other hand, is only on 2 bases. He can't quite produce at the same rate here. He does need to be a little bit more careful about how he uses his units. But this Wrecking Ball is just sweeping down, just taking out base and then another base, and now this base is looking like it's going to go down. Unfortunately, the cannons are just close enough to the ramp to make it a little bit inconvenient. And over on this side, the Dragoons are actually trying to come down from the top, because he has lost enough supply depots now that he's no longer has the ability to make max supply. Not a huge issue. I mean, he's still 40 away from coming up to that number, but interestingly, he's lost that many. He certainly had excess. So, Terran coming in once again. Going to be able to shut it down this time, almost certainly. I don't think that this army can... Maybe it can get back there in time. Oh, there's only one tank. Most of it's vultures, and vultures are not going to help very much take that out once the shields go down. And I guess, yes, it will be catching a lot of probes as they retreat, or even before they retreat. I don't know. It's now 3 bases. You're now taking 3. Terror's now taking 3 bases, and he's got this up, so he's on 2 bases. 1 base is bad. 2 base, though, if you can stay on 2 base forever, it's kind of okay. Meanwhile, these Dragoons trying to come in here, but there are tanks constantly coming out. Not too hard to siege them up. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the upgrades. Terror's finished his are 3-3, DragOn at 3-2, and no shield upgrades. So a little bit worse for him. A little bit worse for him. But that's fine. I bet he's getting the 3 armor upgrade right now. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that's going to be 6 upgrades just off of 1 forge. He's been slowly but steadily churning along here with those upgrades. Now, I don't know. Both players should feel a little bit uncomfortable right now. Terror should feel uncomfortable because he's 80 supply behind, and 70 supply behind now. But he's ridiculously far behind in supply. And that's not good. Not to mention the fact he only has 2 mining bases. But DragOn should feel oh, recall? Recall. We have not seen a recall in quite a while from DragOn, but busting it out now, even some DTs in there with that recall, and High Templar as well. How much damage is he going to be able to do? There are no factories elsewhere on the map for Terror. So if DragOn can manage to kill off a bunch of these, it would be a great, great strike. But unfortunately, it looks like there were a lot of specialty units brought in with the DTs and the High Templar, not so many Dragoons and Zealots to actually deal the damage. So really, that recall, it gets some units and a machine shop. Not good. Not a good recall. Oh, this recall, on the other hand, the secondary recall, might see a little bit more success here. The tank, they're being killed as soon as they spawn. This is really going to be a hindrance to Terror. And you can see, despite the fact that DragOn's throwing away entire recalls worth of units, he's still maxed. It's fine. We're lifting off the factories? We are lifting off the factories. I don't know how that's going to help Terror. You're not even moving them, just lifting them off. Okay. This is not good. That was a really nice move for DragOn. It was a really nice move, and that's really what's going to end up breaking this game open. And to have the conviction to go in for the second recall. Very, very nice. This is too much for Terror to handle. I don't know why he's still making Goliaths. The Goliaths are just getting killed instantly. He should be trying to save his money. He does actually have a lot of money. He should be just remaking factories down here as fast as possible. It's kind of all he can do. He's going to go for an attack too. I don't like this right now. You don't want to attack. If you're, I mean, the best you can get out of that attack, GG. The best you can get out of that attack is taking out DragOn's base, and then it's like, oh no, I don't quite have that same economy. I'll only be at 9k and have 3 mining bases instead of 4 mining bases. Alright. So, game number 3. Game number 3, we have... no, this isn't the first one of the day. We've already had one. But, very competitive. Well-played games, in both of them, from both players. TerrOr and DragOn. Now, we've seen... let's call it the players first. In the bottom left is DragOn as the red Protoss. He is at 7 o'clock. And in the top right is the brown Terran, TerrOr. He's at 2 o'clock. Boom, 17 seconds. That's a new record for me. Alright. So, game 1, TerrOr went ultra aggressive. Game 2, TerrOr goes ultra passive, ultra turtley. What's he gonna do game 3? What is he going... TerrOr, what are you doing game 3, bro? What are you doing game 3? Are we doing 7 Rax's game 3? Are we doing BBS's game 3? He's not making any more... Oh, there we go. Alright. I guess you went from ultra aggressive to ultra passive to even more ultra aggressive. So, it's not BBS. It's just, it's an 8 Rax. It really is an 8 Rax, but TerrOr didn't make the S8 SCV until later. So, Bunker Rush. We got Bunker Rush. And, okay, DragOn, he checked the center of the last game. But is he just going to completely scout cross? Map hacks. Ridiculous map hacks. Shenanigans, DragOn. And now the SCVs... oh, the SCVs won't realize which direction the probe's coming in. Oh, that's brutal. So, there's one Marine here. And you don't really need to send the first Marine. You can wait. This SCV sees nothing. This SCV sees nothing. So... now we're all going to head over in this direction with 2 Marines, so it's a little bit safer. And DragOn is going to go Cybercore first. Even though he scouted the 8 Rax, he's still not going to counter it with a 2-gate. Feels confident in his early game micro and would really like to have that the Dragoon out early. So... interesting. DragOn has all the time to prepare for this in the world. It's a matter of, but it's not a guaranteed victory. It's not a guaranteed victory to know that it's coming. You have to do the right thing and then execute the right thing correctly. You have to choose to do the right thing and then execute it correctly. SCV goes down. It actually pulls the Zealot away from the ramp, and now the bunker starts. The bunker starts. There's 4 Marines out. That's too much for one Zealot to handle, and it can't kill both SCVs before the Marines get there. Might almost got that one, but that one Zealot. Let's see the micro. The probes are being pulled. The bunker just needs a little bit more time, and the Zealot goes down without losing any. Oh, Marines! But the Dragoon's nice. You saw that he picked off the back one on purpose because he knew that the Zealot had already got it down to 1 hit point. Very nice. Oh, that doesn't actually stop the game. It keeps going. But anyway. The bunker's down, 3 full health Marines inside. And DragOn, obviously you gotta get the second gateway now. No way you do anything stupid, no fast expo, no quick robo, none of that. None of those shenanigans. TerrOr, on the other hand, is going to get a fast expo. Which indicates, yeah, he's bringing back that Marine now. Which means that he does not want to, pursue this. All he's going to be doing is sitting here and holding DragOn back as long as possible, stalling that expo as long as possible, and then whenever DragOn breaks out, he just needs to live. He just needs to live after DragOn breaks out. And it's kind of a risky strategy because your economy is really far behind. So this is not putting you ridiculously ahead, it's just putting you kind of ahead. But it was going to be really hard for the to leapfrog the bunkers after the Dragoons already gotten out. It was a good move by DragOn to go for the Dragoons originally, instead of going for the extra gateway. He still would have had the Dragoons out. It wasn't going to make a huge difference. And... oh, man. That Marine is stuck. It pops out right here. It can't get out. It looks like TerrOr is really abandoning this. He really doesn't even want to stall that long. Leaving 2 Marines there and running one of them home. He would have left only one in the bunker if he had the option. But these Dragoons can run up now. This is no threat. It's a matter of do they realize that there's only 2 in there. If he realized it was 2, he'd just go kill it. Two Marines with nothing to support? Yeah, he's gonna go kill it anyway. Alright. So, the Dragoons are breaking out, and as I said, he just needs to not die right now. And he'll be in an okay position. Not dying might be hard, as Dragon's going 3-gate goon, so he's going to be able to put out a lot of pressure versus TerrOr's late factory. Is range done? I haven't been paying attention to that. I don't think he could have range right now. I don't think he could afford range. We'll see. Either way, he has enough Dragoons to just attack. I don't think he needs to worry about just kind of playing footsies with the bunker. He can just go in and crush it. And the siege tanks, oh boy, I don't know if that's going to be in time. He's got to he needs more SCVs. He needs to be preemptively pulling more SCVs. Oh, you can't lose it here. You can't lose it here. You need more SCVs. TerrOr! TerrOr! You can't lose it! He's sacrificing a Marine to try to buy more time! Why are you not pulling more SCVs, TerrOr? You need to live, TerrOr! TerrOr! Oh, why are you not stalling harder? The first tank's out, but the wall's done. The bunker's gone. There's nothing preventing the goons from running forward other than a wall of SCVs, but this is just going to hurt TerrOr. TerrOr was not very far ahead economically because DragOn didn't suffer anything. And the only advantage comes from overcoming the 8 racks with a fast CC. That's not that much. And now it's gone. He now has no economic advantage, but he might just outright have lost the game right now because he didn't repair TerrOr! TerrOr! You've lost 13 SCVs and are continuing to lose them. GG. Oh, TerrOr. TerrOr. Well, North America wins it at least 4-0. Possibly more. More emails. I'm getting a lot of emails during this cast. Alright. So, I'll show it now. We do not have a 2v2. 2v2 is also a walkover. So North America, 5-0. We do, however, have the last set. We do have a semi versus Deska.